Hello, 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 beautiful people. Glad you could join us this week. We have a little remix for you. Yeah. Welcome. Rashawn couldn't join us this week, so Benz was kind enough to stand in for him.
Hello.
Just to make sure that you got a podcast this week. We usually have great conversations, I would say
normal,
like on a weekly basis, where we talk about things that we're going through and thoughts that we're having. So now we're just going to pretty much let you into one of our convos.
Yes.
I don't really know where it's going to go.
That's where I step in. So I'm playing Envy, obviously, and we have conversations all the time. You know I'm single. You know there's so much going on. And I read comments. I read all of your comments, by the way.
She really does read. I thought I read like all of the comments, but you read the YouTube comments.
Every single comment.
You read the Instagram comments. You read my Instagram comments.
DMs,
the Casey
everything.
Crew podcast comments.
Everything.
The
Emails.
Casey Crew podcast, Instagram, DMs, my DMs.
Everything.
I don't get to read all of my DMs, but you...
I read them.
Be reading my DMs.
Yes.
Like, she's into like all of our
I have to make sure.
personal stuff.
I want to know what's going on, what you guys are saying.
But before you do that, I just want to shout out to Sonny.
Yes.
He is a faithful listener. I think he's listened to every Casey Crew podcast. And he's been hitting me in my DMs. Yes. And has he sent emails?
Tons.
As well?
Yes.
He has a personal issue. But first, I want to say thank you for joining us week after week, Sonny. I believe he's 19 years old.
Mm-hmm. That's correct.
You're just on the borderline for like this being okay content for you, but it's okay. And I believe that he's partially blind.
Yes.
Right?
That's correct.
But Sonny, I want to let you know that I haven't overlooked your DM, and I'm going to DM you back on a personal basis because I don't think that what you're going through is something that could be handled in one podcast. Right. So it might take a little bit of back and forth and whatnot. Right. And I just want to let you know that I want to say hi and I'm not overlooking you. Okay?
She's not. She's not.
How many times have I mentioned Sonny?
No, you have.
Okay.
You have.
All right. Okay.
So I want to do something different. It's a topic that I definitely want to talk about, but it's a comment that I saw that was like, ding, 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 ding. Mm-hmm, this is exactly how I feel. Okay. So do you mind if I read it? And yes, I do have it. Boom, boom, boom. Just kidding. All right. So this was a YouTube comment, and it read, "New day, new thought. Envy and Gia have done very well for themselves. I'd be lying if I said his endless grind doesn't inspire me. And the way Gia loves that dude is fire. But then I sit and think, they've been together for decades. They built that together, grind after grind after grind together. The thought enters my mind that Gia's friends see Gia's life and Envy's love for her and want that type of material recognition, devotion, affection, and wealth. So I, a girlfriend, see Envy and Gia, and now that becomes the measuring stick for my relationship. My man bought me a barbecue sandwich. Wasn't enough, though, because Envy bought Gia filet mignon. I threw a party for your birthday. Wasn't enough, though, because Envy rented out a club for Gia. We bought our first condo together. Wasn't enough, though, because Gia and Envy got a mansion in the burbs. And make no mistake, I have zero problems with Gia and Envy's winning at life. But I do think it's unproductive for someone else to think they are winning or losing, appreciated or valued adequately based on Gia and Envy's level of success and subsequent ability to afford such luxuries and affections. How would you feel as a man if your girl just said, give me what old boy gave his chick and I'm good? How would you feel as a woman if your man said, step your game up to her level and I'll be satisfied? Now, of course, most people wouldn't say that out loud, but we are all thinking it. Are we feeling it? Are we consciously or subconsciously projecting it onto our boyfriend, girlfriends, husband, and wives?
Okay.
Now,
so why did you...
I'm around you guys, right?
Want to highlight that comment.
I did. Okay. I'm around you guys a lot, and we have these conversations all the time.
Okay.
In my dating, let's just take a situation. Texting or calling because someone's busy. I always come back and say, how are you busy? When my boss does X, Y, and Z.
Wait. What do you mean?
So if someone texts, like if I'm talking to somebody, so currently I'm like, if I'm talking to dating, and they text and they don't text as often because they say, oh, I'm busy.
Oh, like they can't
call
text you
or text or
on a regular or call,
busy.
or maybe they're texting instead of calling. Okay.
And then I'm like, in my mind, that's an excuse because my boss works around the clock and always finds time for Gia. But for me, I do compare a lot. I do. Subconsciously and consciously. But not in a bad way because...
Okay, so what type of comparisons? Like, okay, so someone maybe not being at or making themselves as available to communicate with you.
One, the grind is definitely another one.
Okay.
Explain. So like grind, okay. Ambition, work ethic, all of that. If you are lazy or don't do what I can do or my boss can do, I know it, but it's true. It is a measure. I don't mean, because it's sad because you guys, built this over years and years and years and years and years and years. And you and I have these conversations all the time where you say, listen, you have to have that connection. You have to have all of that, So for me, I do that. And that hit me heavy. That comment was like, wow, I really do that. And how do I look doing that? Like I'm already putting someone up for like failure because everyone's not going to have what you guys have. Everyone has what they have individually. You have to build that. And you tell me that all the time.
Absolutely.
You tell me that all the time. But I still subconsciously, I think I do it.
But now you looking at someone as potentially lazy. Do you think that they're actually lazy or lazy in comparison to what you bear witness to? Because...
that's a good way to put it.
Do you see what I mean? Because Rashawn isn't just ambitious, like he's overly ambitious. And that's a good thing in many ways, but sometimes it's to his detriment. I've always told him that I'm worried about him later on in life, maybe getting an ulcer or just being overworked and it affecting his health, his overall health. He's always tired. A lot of times you can look at him and see it in his face. So to say that he's not lazy doesn't really grasp it when you're comparing his work ethic to
anyone's.
Because, to be honest, I've never in my life seen someone go as hard at life as Rashawn does. Like, for instance, he decided that he was going to start riding a bike. I don't know if you guys... Wait, what?
Health is wealth.
This is true. This is true.
Yes.
I don't know if you guys that are watching follow either of us on Instagram, but if you follow Rashawn on Instagram, you'd be hard pressed to have not at some point seen a picture of him on his new bike. And
seriously.
And it's like when he commits to something, it is full throttle. It's like no half bleeping.
No.
Anything. No. It is 100% or nothing. So he got the bike. He started riding. I don't know. Don't get me to lying about these miles, but
it's like at 50.
I know, but when he started, because he's only been riding the bike for 3 weeks now. Has it been 3 weeks? Because it feels like 3 months.
Probably has.
Right?
Yeah.
Okay, so maybe 3 weeks. So let's say in the first, I don't know, maybe on the first week, he might have been riding
5, 10.
No, maybe 10,
it was maybe 10 miles, right?
10, 15 miles a day and whatnot. 2 weeks later, he's at 50 miles a day.
Yeah, he's going up there.
Today it was 50. I think a couple of days ago he might have biked 60 miles. And I'm like, that's from New Jersey.
Listen.
All the way to my mother's house in Queens, I think is 40 miles. And I'm trying to process, you rode that on a bike?
On a bike.
That's a long car ride,
the trees,
let alone for your legs to be providing all of the momentum to do it. But he's just, it's his mental.
It's the mental.
Do you know what I mean? Like his mental is on like another level. And then don't let him see like some fruits of his labor. Like he's starting to see the waist slim down and you know, like, okay. So that just fuels him even more. Definitely. And when it comes to business, when he works harder, he makes more money. So he wants to work even harder so he can make even more money. But that's his mental. But that's not what I would consider normal. Yeah. And by no stretch of the imagination would that be my yardstick to measure other people. Now, if you meet somebody who's just down and outright lazy, and you can,
and lazy is probably
and you can categorize them as lazy. That's a different story. Right. But when you start using other people, for measurement and as a yardstick, then it gets a little bit dangerous. I think it's good. Now, don't get me wrong. I think that we all use other people maybe as a reference point. Yeah. To know what is possible. Like, so I can understand if you were saying, all right, Gia, I met this guy and he tells me he doesn't have enough time to text me. He was busy, to say, well, I know it's possible. Right. Despite how busy you are, that you probably just didn't want to, or maybe you're just not used to making space for other people in your life. But maybe that's something that you work on, because if that's not something he's used to, it doesn't mean that he's just disregarding you. Do you understand what I'm saying? But when you kind of compare, unless it's something bad, I don't know if that's the right way to go.
No, I think you're right.
You know what I mean?
I can understand certain things because, like you said, everyone has like a measuring stick of what they want and what they see and what feels right. When I look at you guys, it just looks right. It feels right. Even just around you guys, I'm just like, could somebody just be like, hey, boo-boo, good morning, boo-boo. Hi, baby. Love you, baby. You know, you want those things, but in your own way. Now, I'm not saying that they have to be everything that you guys have, because I was just telling the camera guy, that I need Gia's patience. Like, if there's something in relationships that I would take away, I need your patience. Really? I need your patience and your understanding, because you dissect everything. And I'm quick to go to conclusions on things and cut things off, like, okay, well, I guess that's not going to serve me because you can't do X, Y, and Z. Then fine. But you always look at the bigger picture. She really does, guys. Like, no, seriously, like, you dissect everything. And so if there's something to take away from that, I'm trying to get to that point. But I don't know, Gia. I think this generation's a little bit different in dating. What do you mean? I mean, I agree, but I want to know what you mean. I don't think people want to be in committed relationships. And I'm not saying everyone. I'm just saying that it's easier to, if this one doesn't do it, then this one's going to do it. It's just a lot of options. But that's true, though. I think there's options. If this one doesn't, for men. Yeah, for women, men. I mean, I think it's understood that women don't have it as easy on the dating front as men. I don't really think that that's arguable. Right. I think a lot of things play into it. I think hopes, dreams, and aspirations of little girls looking forward to what they expect and what they want as women. Yes. Right? Then we have our own expectations. Then we have expectations of our friends and family. Oh, the pressure. The pressure. The pressure is so real. So because you have all of these pressures that men usually don't have. You might have a guy who says, they might have an idea of what they want when they get to a certain age. Like, let's say that certain age is, 35. I want to have this level of success. This is probably where I want to live. I'd maybe like to have a wife and children, but if not, I'm okay.
I'm okay, because
that's them.
I probably have until about 50 to achieve that goal, you know? And if you find a guy who's single at 40, most people don't say, what's wrong with him? But if you have a woman...
Why is that the first question?
There's nothing wrong with me. Yes. If you have a woman who's single at 40, what's the first thing?
Well,
you're not. I'm just talking about... Because, you know, a single woman at 35, I don't think people are...
But they still question. They'll question
it. No, they'll
Something
question it.
Must be wrong with her.
But if you're 40 and single, people are like, oh, she must be crazy. She must have a screw loose.
Yeah.
Or...
Why?
Or... she must be trash in bed.
Yeah.
Or she must use her teeth or something. Like, do you know what I mean? There has got to be some reason. So my point is that people are judging women, whereas they don't judge men. And it's because I believe that a lot of men are seen as the choosers and women are seen as the choosies.
And you just wait to be chosen.
And a lot of women are just waiting to be chosen. So let me tell you.
Horrible.
I'm not going to give too many details, but I'm going to get my point across. Rashawn and I were away. And there was this big party going on. And there were going to be a lot of well-known people there. Okay. And there's a girl that we both know. And we were having lunch with her and we were talking about the event that we were going to go to, etc. And she was like, ooh, I got to wear this. I got to do this. Get my makeup done. Because, girl, I'm just trying to get chosen.
Chosen?
I was like,
chosen?
What? Chosen?
That's deep.
And literally,
no, but chosen?
When I left that lunch, we went back to the hotel and we took a nap. Okay. And I remember laying in that bed and my mind just kind of pondered.
You sure?
On
chosen?
That was the word. That was the word, chosen, you know? And my mind just ran on that thought for a while. It took me a little while to go to sleep because I found it so interesting because she articulated what a lot of women actually feel. You know, that's like crazy. We go out on a Friday night, we're single, you get dolled up, you get sexy. And why do most women do it? Some women do it to impress their friends. Some women do it for themselves. But I think the vast majority of women do it to attract men.
Exactly. No.
And
guilty.
What do most of your friends want? Same thing that probably most of my friends want. You want a successful man, like you want that dude in the club.
Massimo to come walking.
You said Massimo.
Busting through the door.
No, but you want to attract the cream of the crop.
No, it's
and
true.
Now if you're in the club and you walk past Mr. Cream of the Crop, like you want to be chosen. Like you want him to approach you.
I have a question. So, because you're going to definitely think I'm crazy. I already know you.
Okay.
Is it wrong if I'm in the club and I'm doing the choosing and then I approach? Is that what's supposed to happen?
Oh, no, it's not wrong. I could never use the word that it's wrong.
Not wrong. Okay. I'm just saying, but that's not heard of neither. Is it men find that like alarming?
Do you think that men find that?
Well, first of all,
forward.
I do. Especially if I was to do something like that. I'm walking in there. I'm 6'2" without heels.
But even if you were 5'5",
they wouldn't. I do think height brings off a little bit more like a.
But I do think that it's a forward action,
no matter what, regardless.
I think so.
Okay.
I'm sure that there are people that have done that and wound up married to the love of their life with. Yeah. A baby and a puppy. I'm not saying that it doesn't work, and I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it.
Oh, no.
For me, it's just not something I would do because I'm too. I would look at it like this: we're both in the club together. My section's right next to yours.
Right.
I see you. You see me.
Right.
If I'm into you and you don't kick it to me, then I'm not going to be the one
to
approach you and put you in a position where you may give me your number, and you may not necessarily have wanted to, or you do begrudgingly, or you do with even if it's as simple as you do with let's see how this goes. I'm not the let's see how this goes type of girl.
I know that's right. Let's see how this goes.
I'm the damn,
let me go
I like her,
right.
or I'm interested in her, or I'm really curious, to see what she's about, or whatever. I want to be the girl that, if I'm single, that if a guy sees me, if there's any potential future, that he would be interested off the bat, and he would want to approach me and see where it went.
But is that being chosen?
No, I don't know. That's not being chosen, because I'm not saying that from a choosy type of
mindset.
Yep. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
I'm saying that from you could be anybody type of mindset. I'm not kicking it to no dude.
I feel you.
I am not approaching it. We both see each other.
See, that's what, okay.
You are not going to be hard pressed to decide that you want to deal with me.
I want that old school love. Trust me. It's so different now. You got women these days, and listen.
But let me just say, I'm not advising against it.
Oh, I know.
I'm just saying that that's just not for me personally. That's not for Gia Casey, but I'm sure that it can work for women.
Of course. But I still think that every woman wants to be, because you always say, where's the courting? Where's that, make yourself like a little bit of a mystery, No.
But here's the thing. Those don't go hand in hand.
Why?
Because when you use the word chosen, think about what that implies. That means that you, as the choosee, are readily available. That's what the implication behind it is, that you're available.
Wow.
For the choosing.
I think I'm overly available. Okay, let me explain. Because you're hitting points. And listen, I'm open and honest.
Okay.
I think if I have my... I'm available, because if I have my phone and you text me, why... I understand it's probably a little bit of a game, right?
I don't mean available with time.
No, I know what you mean. I definitely understand what you mean by that. But now that I'm replaying that word in my head, I'm like, that's another thing to play on, being overly available and not making a man chase a little bit, wonder a little bit. If you're always available, it's like...
It's a turn off.
Yeah.
I'm
subconsciously, that.
We had this conversation we had
this is
before.
Real. This is a real conversation.
Being overly available is a turn off to anybody, whether they know it or not.
Yeah.
This is how I feel. Mm-hmm. Think about all the way back to being a kid. Think about being a teenager. Think about being a young adult, and think about being an adult. Mm-hmm. I think that human beings have always, since the beginning of time, since cavemen with their clubs dragging the cave woman around by her hair, I think that people have always wanted what is hard to get.
I understand. Of course.
It all goes back to the concept of supply and demand.
Ooh.
When the supply is low, the cost is high.
Yep.
When the supply is plentiful, the cost is low.
That's true.
Period.
Yeah.
So when you make yourself so available, I'm thinking that's easy. Nobody wants anything that's easy. Because if it's easy, what does that mean? Anybody can have it.
Anybody can have it.
Anybody can have it.
If you're talking to somebody, if you're just talking to somebody and they text you and you have your phone, you're supposed to look at it and just not text them back?
Listen.
I'm so terrible.
No.
I am that person.
I'm going to be honest with you. And this isn't going to sound great.
Oh, shit.
No, it's not going to. No, not you personally.
Oh.
Just, no. This isn't going to sound great. And I don't like the idea of perpetuating mind games.
It's that mind bleep.
Mm-hmm.
Smidgy poo.
Smidgy poo.
No, but I don't even think it's.
But I think it's just taking stock of human nature and how people tick. You know, my boyfriend right before Rashawn, okay, first of all, this is actually a contradiction. So I didn't have the same idea when I was younger. When I was a teenager, right. I kind of felt like, like I go after what I want. Like
boom, pow.
I'm about it. Like if I want it, I'll go after it. So this particular guy, I actually went after him. He didn't see me. I saw him from afar. I was like, ooh, I set it up with my girlfriends for me to meet him. I met him, and then
remember those days?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Your friends would put you.
Yes. So I met him, and we started dating. But he was so smitten with me that it turned me off. Anytime I called him, like, you know, if I'm like, oh, why don't we go? He was like, like anything. And then it's going to sound crazy, but I remember like when we would kiss, it was like this way that he used to look at me. It was like with this, it was like he looked at me like it was like dreamy.
Maybe it was.
It probably was, but I was like, it was
why did you do that?
It was like too available. So my point is, human nature just is what it is. You know what I mean? True. So we just have to take stock of that and kind of act accordingly until you get to a place. You know, I'm lying. I can't even say, no. I can't even really, I was going to say that I think the politically correct thing, which would have been until you get to a place of comfort and
just keep
like knowingness. No. Like, I can't lie. You kind of have to do a little bit of push and pull all the way through, but it's a push and a pull. Do you know what I mean? Because I can't just walk all over Rashawn.
Facts.
Do you know what I mean? He can't just walk all over me. Like, I feel like every day we're working to like level up, you know? And if there's a problem, like he's going to let me know, you know, and vice versa. Do you know what I mean?
No, I understand.
But if you feel like someone is just so easy, it's like, yo, where's the challenge? You know? And we also want, like I said, like we want things that we can't have. Well, that's hard to get, escalating to things that we can't have. Like think about when you were younger, or think about, you know, pre-COVID. You know, I could be in a store and I could be looking at a pair of shoes. And I could be like, I don't really know if I want those shoes, but they're nice. Let me look around. Oh, but ma'am, there's only one left in the 8.5. That's my shoe size. I'd be like, all right, well, let me just wander around. If a next chick comes in and picks up the 8.5, like, oh my God, these are amazing. I'm buying them. Excuse me, that was mine. That was mine. I was taking those. They were just on hold for me over there. As soon as someone else wants what you have, it makes you want it even more. Or something that you disregarded, it makes you want it even more. So when it comes to like what you said about like the text and whatnot, if you're that girl that if he's like, all right, well, I text you, and then you text him right back.
Hey.
He calls you you pick up on the first ring. Hello. Hey. You know what I mean? Or if he calls you on Thursday night to take you out on Friday night,
and I'm available.
And you're available. Well, what's wrong with you? Because you're available on a Friday night. Like this whole world is popping. You had no plans for Friday night already?
No, I canceled them. No, you're right. Wow, that sounds so.
You were available on Friday night before I even came into your life, and potentially took your time from you. Do you know what I mean? Like you were just. Like nobody else wanted you. Nobody else wanted your friends, your mama. Like nobody wanted to spend time with you.
That sounds so bad.
Dude, no, but I'm just saying.
No, but it's real.
So if someone calls me on a Thursday night to ask me to take me out on Friday, I could be sitting home watching Netflix or whatever. I'm sorry. I have plans for tomorrow. What about next Friday? So that's not true. I don't like to lie, but you have to know if you want to spend time with me, like book me in advance. Because my time is valuable.
Book me in advance.
Even if it ain't. You're going to think
that
my time is valuable.
But it could be so simple.
It could be simple, but guess what?
What?
You know how they say nice guys finish last?
They really do.
So do nice girls.
Oh, no.
And I'm not saying, okay, don't take that literally, guys. Seriously.
I know, right? They really
No. I mean, of course. Of course we're supposed to be nice, but when you play by the book, when you're nice, like look at my boyfriend right before Rashawn. He finished last because he was so friggin' nice.
Oh, I'm too nice.
No, do you understand?
But see, it's so crazy because
available. There was no challenge. I didn't have to work for anything. It was easy. And it was like, oh, this is boring. Like now this is boring. Give me something that I feel like I won something. Make me feel like I achieved something. Make me feel like I got something that
but I'm adventurous.
Other chicks can't just have.
But I'm adventurous.
So?
No crickets in the back. And
you listen.
No, I know.
No, like
I can
like the guy that I'm referring to. He was cute.
Yeah,
he had a good job. He was smart. He had some other little accolades. Right. Do you know what I mean? But the lack of a challenge, it actually bored me. And don't get me wrong, I was a teenager, but it's
okay.
I would have been that way at 27 with somebody. I would have been that way at 32 with somebody. Like if it's just too easy, like I want to feel like you're an achievement.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like think if you're a guy, right? Mm-hmm. Do you want to be like, let's say it's not just for smashing's sake, okay?
Which is,
do you want to wife the girl that you feel like anybody in your clique could have had?
True.
Or anybody down the street or anybody in the club could have had?
No.
Like, did you feel like you achieved anything?
Yeah, that's true.
But if it's that bad chick with an education and a good job and you were able to snag her, like wine and dine her, get her to be yours, get her to commit to you and turn it into a relationship, then you're like, yo, damn. That's the one. She don't even mess with dudes like that. But then that's kind of like a reflection on you. Like, oh, wow. It gives you a reason to feel proud of yourself. You know what I mean? Like, oh, like I achieved something. Like I won something. Like I earned something. And I think subconsciously people, or maybe even consciously, people want to feel like the things that they have that are valuable, that they earned.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Like a challenge. So, okay. But the thing is, I would date me. Would you date you?
You would date you. If you were a single guy. Think about it. Okay, so
because this is a real question.
If you were a single guy,
look at myself.
Would I date me? Okay.
Would I date me?
Okay.
After everything we just talked about. Okay.
Because you're a tough crowd.
Yeah.
When it comes to guys.
Yeah.
You're a tough crowd. Would you agree?
Why do you say that?
Because you're a little bit of a tough crowd.
I am?
I think you're a tough crowd, yeah.
Why?
I think that your expectations are
and this goes
very high
of that comment right there.
What do you mean?
My expectations are very high.
Oh, because of okay, all right.
They are,
but you're also willing to cut it very quickly if someone doesn't measure up early on. Like I don't know,
because I don't need to find out later on that you're not measuring. You're going to tell me right now you didn't measure.
But I don't know if you're giving anyone a fair shake. Do you know what I mean? Like is someone getting a fair shake? Okay, so now knowing that you're a tough crowd, would you date you? Think about it. You're a dude.
I would find myself interesting.
Okay, so off the bat, you would find yourself interesting.
Wow. I don't know.
Tell me, okay, let's do it like this. What are your positive attributes?
Like of myself? Like, I think I'm pretty.
You are.
I think I'm smart.
Beautiful. With some bomb-ass skin.
No, but hard worker, ambitious, strong. All those great things.
All those great things. That's how you sum yourself up?
Yeah.
All them great things?
I have a lot of great things.
Okay. I like that.
I'm very confident.
So confidence.
I think that, bad things. Not bad, but, I have an interesting way of communicating.
Okay. All right.
How I feel about certain things. And I'm like, it's short. Like you said, I cut like, okay, you're not doing this. That's
okay.
It.
Well, give me an example.
It doesn't take rocket science that if someone does, if I'm interested in you, I'm giving you my time, and my time is very valuable. Obviously, I work for the Casey's. So therefore, I mean, we're moving and shaking, but if I'm making time for an individual and I don't feel like they're making the same amount of time, I get offended.
And how do you handle it?
I let them know.
How? What do you say? Okay, so I'm dude. I'm dude that just...
So just be honest. Why didn't you text me, obviously? And then you're like, I was busy.
Well, that's not a nice answer.
You know what?
I was busy. Tell somebody you don't really care enough.
Words. There's trigger words that trigger me.
Okay.
And I think my delivery is very, like how I am in business. I'm very assertive. Thank you. Someone said that in the comments. Not aggressive.
Oh, they said you're not aggressive.
They said
you're assertive.
So thank you.
I like that.
That was nice.
But aggressive is the word that you use to describe yourself.
And that's...
But assertive is a much better...
I agree.
Word.
It sounds much better. But I do think I am very... Like I come off that way. I come off very, and I think my delivery can be worked on.
But give me an example of your delivery.
It's not nice.
You're just not going to tell me, huh?
It's just not nice. Like, it's just like...
We got to get to the bottom of this. I need to know if you would date you. So you need to tell me honestly, how bad it can get.
I've gotten better. So, I mean, I've been working on myself. So I think that it did. Like, I've used curse words and I've been, bad naming and, and it could be in the very early stages because to me, I lay it all on the table early on. And I think that's also something that's bad.
Lay it all on the table.
Like who I am, like how I am, what I like, what I don't like. It's almost like speed dating very quickly. Like, you know about me on the first date. I think I give too much information too. Look at Kim's face. Yo, don't zoom in on that. Yeah, I give way too much information.
Well, that sounds a little scary.
I know.
You know what I mean?
Well, that's something I've worked on.
It's like the first date you're supposed to dip
your
big toe in,
and you're like, what are your short-term goals?
You're diving in head first.
What do you think? Like,
really?
I'm a very, like, I like to...
You're sizing them up early.
And I like to find out what's going on up in here. Like, how do you think? How do you respond to things?
And how do men react on that first date?
Like,
do they really?
I mean, they play with it. I think they see the type of woman that I am. I'm a little bit of a softie, once I get the talking, you get me kikiing a little bit, I open up a lot. And I think that can be like I got everything I needed to know about her on the first date, so
there's no mystery.
There's no mystery. There's
nothing he had to work for.
Before. Like, now I think I've worked on that through our conversations and how just some small advice that you've given me.
It's not playing games for the sake of playing games. No, it's not to toy with someone's feelings and emotions. It's kind of to start setting standards and to begin solidifying that interest.
Right.
Because, like, if you mess up that part of it, like in the first 2 weeks, then I feel, or 3 weeks, month, whatever, the rest of it is thrown off.
But it's like, you want to find someone that's in the same book, Like, I might be in a couple of chapters.
But that might be what you were talking about, like working on patience.
Yeah.
You might just have to be a little bit more patient.
I know.
But then to uncover people and to learn.
And then you get scared because you have past things in your mind of what happened to you in the past and how relationships are, how the world is, what you see, what you hear, conversation. It's just so much that you're like,
But it can,
alert.
It could be time well spent if it results in a productive, satisfying relationship with someone that revealed themselves to you as time went on. You got a chance to witness that because they weren't put off on the first 2 dates where you told them everything about you and you wanted to know everything about them.
Everything.
What are your long-term goals? What are your short-term goals? How many kids do you want?
Yeah.
What are their names going to be? Have you ever thought about that?
Have you ever just sat and looked at the moon? What are your thoughts during that time? I'd be like, this bitch is crazy. She just asked me if I ever sat and stared at the moon, what my thoughts were. I'm just kidding. What?
Let me just take this check on the way out.
Check,
I'm a car Uber.
Oh, Uber.
I'm gonna leave a note with the waiter.
I know, but
you start talking to me about the moon and my thoughts.
It's like movie, like I'm a helpless romantic. Like
I know that about you.
Very rah-rah when it comes to the bit.
But you're like,
you know, I love a mood. You know,
you
me.
love like you
candles,
love a mood and candles
music.
and what was that thing that you did? I think did you do it in Long Island? Like you laid in like a body of salt water and just floated.
Oh yes,
I was like, ooh, that's something I've never done.
The salt tank.
You were in a salt tank and you just went in there and vibed out. Like you love your Jill Scott and
Erykah Badu
gets you in a headspace where you're just vibing and all that stuff. And I'm just like, what did you ask me that day? What did you ask me about thinking deeply? Do I ever?
Yeah. Do you ever get lost in your thoughts, or do you?
Was that the term that you used?
No, it probably was something else. But do you ever like?
Maybe it was like get lost.
Yeah. Like, do you ever do some deep thinking and you're like, well, what? I'm like, do you ever just think like, I don't know, about life and get lost in your thoughts, your wants, what you want to do, where else do you see yourself, like things of that nature?
I feel as though I think deeply in small doses, all the time.
That's true.
So I don't think that I ever have like these
to sit and
like come to Jesus moments where
that's what she calls them.
Where I'm just like laying there and all the thoughts have to resonate at once. And you know what I mean?
But see how you just said in small doses? That goes to dating. That goes to that first date. I sit and like you just said, you don't have to have all your thoughts at one moment. And I do. That was a good way to put it. Small doses of heavy thinking. I have to work on that. But would you date you?
Let's see. I would date me.
I would date me.
I would date me.
Why?
I mean, there's a lot of reasons, but
just name a couple.
Because I don't want to run off everything that I think that's positive about me.
No.
That feels weird.
Let me say something
to me
about Gia.
So I'm not going to do that.
Does not like to say anything that is great about herself. And she does this all the time. This is not just for camera. Like, she will not talk great about herself. It's crazy. Like, I just sat here and told you all the great things about myself.
And I love to hear it.
And then but when I ask you to, why do you always do that? You're the most humble. Like, you just don't. You don't want to talk great about yourself ever.
Yeah, no, not really.
But you would just date yourself.
I mean, I'll say this. I feel that I'm a very nurturing person, and
good word.
am very loyal, even if it's to a fault. And I know that I've been loyal to people to a fault in my life, but
your loyalty runs deep.
My loyalty runs deep, like very, very, very deep.
And
it's one of the most important things to me, loyalty. But if I love you, I don't even know if it has to go as deep as love. But if I care about you, you know, you know what it is. I think it's because I saw great examples of loyalty when I was young. Like, I've talked about this years ago, probably on the podcast with Rashawn. But like, my mother and father were extremely loyal to one another. And I'm not just talking about, you know, loyal in the traditional sense. I'm talking about, I remember asking my mother, you know, what is it that you like love about daddy? Like aside from the obvious, like what is like dig deep a little bit. Like, tell me, like, what do you really love about daddy? And one of the things, she said a bunch of things, but one of the things that she said was that they were in a club one night, or a bar, whatever. I imagine them at a bar. So maybe a club with a bar, whatever. And there was a guy there. And I don't know what the guy did to offend my mother, or maybe my mother did something to offend him, or whatever it was. And my mother was clearly wrong, but my father
was like,
nah, B, you know, and did whatever he had to do to defend his woman in that club and everything.
No matter what, right, wrong.
Yes, right, wrong, indifferent, it don't matter. And then when they got in the car, it was like, come on, man. Like, what were you doing? What you out here doing? Like, you got me looking like da-da-da-da-da.
I can respect that, though. Because loyalty is, you don't find that.
When I was in college, my girlfriend, her name is Tamara. She was my roommate. She went to so I went to Old Dominion. She went to Hampton for a year or two and then transferred to Old Dominion. And I had seen her on Hampton's campus every now and then, but we never knew each other. But when she transferred to Old Dominion, we became cool. She later on became my roommate. But before she became my roommate, one day we went to a club, and afterwards we went to a gas station. And a lot of people left the club and pulled up to the gas station. I'm there legit just getting gas.
What's something about gas stations? People be chilling in gas stations.
But I didn't know her that well. Like, I didn't know her that well. But we were just hanging out together that night, and we were in the stage of becoming friends. And I was pumping gas, and another car with like maybe 1, 2, 3, 4 girls pulled up at a pump right across. They were looking at me. I see them looking at me. I'm looking at them. I'm thinking to myself, like,
what's up?
What's going
on?
Up? You know what I mean?
Right.
The girl's like, yo, what you looking at? And I'm here we go. So then I take off my heels. As soon as Tamara saw me take off my heels, she got out the car and it was like, what's up? And nothing wound up happening. Long story short, nothing wound up happening. But I was just like,
that reminds me of my friend T.
We are friends to this day.
Facts.
Like, she's one of the people, she's developed into like one of those people in the world that like know me.
Right.
Do you know what I mean?
You always have that one
that's
a ride or die no matter what.
She was a ride or die, and it was just that loyalty. And I mean, I've seen different examples and experienced different examples of loyalty throughout my life, and I'm that friend. Like, you could be as wrong as 2 left feet. But while we are in front of anybody,
I'm riding for you.
I'm riding. I might kick your ass in the car on the way home.
Facts.
But right now, you don't ever have to worry about Gia like fading off into the distance and leaving you on an island by yourself. It's never going to happen. It's just not going to happen.
Beautiful trait.
You know what I mean?
So,
thank you. So, and I'm honest.
You do not like to lie.
I do not like to lie.
You do not like to lie.
I do not like to lie.
Not even you really don't.
I don't like to lie.
Not that I condone it. I mean, but I'm just saying there's certain things that
I don't like to lie. I don't like to be phony.
Yeah.
I don't like to misrepresent things or misrepresent myself. So those are things that, but I think as far as like relationships, those other things are important, but I'm nurturing. I'm a nurturing person. Now I'd actually have to think about like the negative things. The negative things. Damn, you kind of hit me upside the head with this one. What could use some improvement?
I like the way she worded that. What can use some improvement? We all can use some improvement in some ways. I know what I need to work on. And I've been.
Okay. Damn, this I really have to think about this. Like really? Relationship wise,
yeah.
It's hard for me to answer because I don't do anything without thinking.
I just said that, yeah.
Without thinking about it, you know. But you know what?
I know one thing.
Tell me.
Because I feel like that might be something to work on.
What? Tell me.
You're like a lawyer. And you have your facts, evidence, everything. And I've seen you and Logan.
My son is like me. My son is like
you and Logan are
we are one in the same.
One in the same, and y'all will sit.
That's why I understand him so well.
Y'all will sit there and go back and forth, and you don't mind. It could take hours.
I go back and forth with Logan because during that back and forth, I feel like I'm teaching him.
Of course.
Do you know what I mean?
No. And that's why I said
and
Logan is...
I am trying to teach him how to think and how to analyze things and how to pick things apart, how to get to the meat, how to get to the truth, how to, you know.
You do not play when it comes to that.
Yeah. I was raised to be that way. My dad raised me to be that way.
I think that is, because you're not going to approach nothing without already knowing the end result. You do not
I'm not going to open my mouth. Nope. I'm not the type to get into something without feeling strongly about it. And I'm not going to figure out my way through it as I'm going through it.
And you're not going to brush nothing under nobody's rug.
And I'm not going to brush anything under the rug. Yeah, that's true. But you know what it is? I don't want to, you know why I do that too? I don't want to waste your time with an argument or with a discussion that at the end, I'm going to end up saying, oh, my bad.
True.
Because then I'm wasting your time. You spent all that time having to prove me wrong.
See, I've been in those situations. That is truth.
Do you know what I mean?
I will bark and then after just be like, hey. My delivery was off earlier.
I had time to think about it. Yeah.
I'm serious.
See, I don't try to think about things after. I try to think about things before.
And you be like,
I gather myself, I collect myself.
You're good.
And then I try to.
That's why I said that level of patience.
Because truth be told, like Benz has seen Rashawn and I argue. Like she has seen me under the bus like that. Like she has seen like. So is Estat. Estat's like.
It's real life, but I'm just saying I've seen the way that you carry yourself in an argument.
Okay. And what does that mean?
I've seen I know I probably look insane in an argument because I'm going to get my point across. And if I feel like I'm not, I'm going to raise my voice to get that point across.
Oh, okay.
And then if that's not working, I worked on that though. But you in an argument, you be like, and you talk softly. You talk the way that you are just where you are. That's why I said that level of patience is unheard of.
Yes.
It's different.
I would say in my entire relationship with Rashawn, the most I have ever done, and it only happened once, was slam a door.
That was it?
I've never broken anything. I've never kicked anything. I've never thrown anything.
Wow.
I've raised my voice, but I'm talking about physically. I slammed a door, and meant to slam the bleep out of that door.
Poor door.
But
that's it though.
But once, no.
See, nah. I'm clapping.
I've raised my voice. I've yelled. I've
throwing stuff.
I've done all of that.
Belittling you. I'm doing because my point is to hurt.
Okay, hold on. Ding. Okay. That's something.
What?
That's a flaw. That's something I would need to work on. I had to stop and think, and I'm trying to think. I think that it's not something that I do now, but it was a flaw back in the day where I didn't do it intentionally, but after reflection, I do think that there were times where I may have been belittling. And again, it wasn't, I'm lying.
You want to be like it wasn't intentional?
No.
But you said
I just lied. I was about to.
You was going for that jugular.
No, but you know what?
We go for that jugular.
There's times where it was completely unintentional. And then there were times where
it was intentional.
I was going for the jugular,
mean, that's human nature.
But I don't do that now. Like
that's why I said your level of patience. I would like to get to that level of patience where I feel like you're like, ding, like, and then you'd be like, all right, like even your level of argument. Like, I just think that it's growth. Like I didn't know you guys all these years, like 20 years that you guys all been together, but I've seen like that you've been able to, you talked about it, we've had conversations, but you've come to a point where you're like, I don't need to say those things. You know why? Because also my actions is going to show you why I feel certain type of way. And I can show you better than I can tell you.
Well,
and I know you are very big on that statement.
I believe the heck out of that ish.
Actions speak louder than words across the board.
Sometimes, because as women, we can get caught up like yapping and saying a bunch of stuff, and then there's no follow through. Now, if I'm a dude, I'm sitting there like, if I'm a dude, I'm sitting there like, word, that's what you're gonna do.
That's it.
That's it.
You done?
You done?
You finished?
You still talking?
What happened?
Okay, but when are you gonna start? When are you gonna start?
What happened? And then I feel like, and then that's just. But then they also know the cycle, so they know that it's just like you said, an argument. Are you done?
Exactly.
Because you're gonna probably send a text later. Then you're gonna want to talk. You're gonna want to rub my back. Like I've done that too. Like,
and I'm just gonna egg you. And then you still gonna keep calling. You still I'm just gonna egg you some more.
Oh, you know.
And then the guy is now in control.
Oh, God, that
he's
hurts.
Controlling it, and you're sitting there chasing.
And my message is on red.
I turn off my read receipts.
You one of those?
Yeah.
Why?
Why do I turn off my read receipts?
You read it, so it says you read it. So now it's now it's just delivered. You're one of those?
Yeah, I'm definitely one of those.
So maybe I should turn that off.
You should turn off your read receipts.
I just kidding. It's off. It's off. No, but I used to be the one like, yo, you read that at like 7:58.
You're not gonna catch me out there. I'm like, yo, I never saw it.
Oh, you one of those?
No, I'm just kidding. No, I'm just kidding. My read receipts are off, but I'm not gonna be like, oh, I never saw it. Right. But no, like I've been around people that take it really personally.
Huh? Yeah.
You know? But like if I'm driving,
or you like to pick and you didn't answer my call,
and then I'm like, okay. When I get to where I'm going, I'm going to text back. And then I get there, and then I forget.
Right. And
then it's like, oh, I texted you 2 days ago. You never called me back. Then it's like, So I turn off my read receipts. I don't have to deal with that. Do you know what I mean? Smart. But that's what that's about. Mm-hmm. But with you.
That's overly available. Mm-hmm. And then I used to get caught up with that. That's why mines are off too. But I used to read it right. If I'm on my... What's the one thing you always say about me?
That you're always on your phone?
You say that all the time. I am, but I had to.
But it is the degree to which you are on your phone.
But I have to be.
No. Let me tell you something. This is not true. Because when you were Logan's coach,
I was still working hard.
When you were Logan's coach before you became Rashawn's assistant,
I was still working hard. Yeah.
Whatever. I remember we spent the night in a hotel room together, and I just remember, like, we were talking, and it's like your hand was shaking. During the conversation, like you needed your phone in your possession, and it was hard for you to like key into the conversation and not be on your phone.
You don't care about your phone.
And I was thinking like, this girl got a problem.
That's what you said?
I was thinking that, yeah. I'm like, you need, like, the phone is like your lifeline.
Wow.
We were in Orlando when we were staying at Disney for the competition.
Every time you say that to me, I'm like, it's business.
I'm sure it wasn't. I think he was on Instagram. I remember glancing like, oh wait, she was on Instagram. Oh,
you was eyeball hustling.
Yes, I did. I was like, what's she looking at so important?
That I have you're right.
How do I put it into words? That whole, like what you said, like I could show you better than I could tell you. Like, what I say, I wouldn't want to be with someone that formidable.
Ding, Ding,
like
ding,
it's,
Ooh.
I don't know if I would choose to be with someone that would call me out on my ish and that would demand a higher standard. And
really? Why?
Because it's difficult.
It is.
Because it's difficult. If I were a guy, I might want to be with
the easier?
No, not easy in that sense, but I'm tough.
Yeah.
I'm tough. Mm-hmm. I'm sweet. But
there's another.
I'm tough.
Yeah. What's wrong with that?
I don't think there's anything wrong with it.
Or not.
That's why I go about life that way. But if I'm a guy,
you think that's like a what?
I would always probably feel like I had the pressure of having to come correct
all
and the time. And that is a certain degree of pressure that a person can feel. And I'm not saying I'm not unreasonable by any stretch, because I'm also very understanding and I am very patient. But I want a man with intention. Do you know what I mean? That's the only thing that matters to me with anybody. Friends, husband, whomever. I just want you to have the right intentions. Do you know what I mean?
That is a great way to put it.
That's what matters to me.
That's holding someone at a, like, people, they don't have that.
You know what it is? I guess maybe a better way to put it is, you can't run BS on me. Period. Like, I'm not letting stuff slide. You try to BS me.
But see, why do people
want that? We have problems.
Yes,
so I could see.
Like, you don't let nothing slide.
I'm not letting anything slide. You talk to me crazy, we have a problem. You're nasty to me, we have a problem. You took me for granted, we have a problem. Do you know? So, but I expect certain things because I give certain things. Period. You know, I'm not asking for anything in return that I don't give.
Say that a lot too.
To begin with.
Or even
from anybody. Yeah. From anybody. Like, if I hire a cleaning person, I'm not asking you to do anything in this house that I wouldn't get down on my knees and do myself if you weren't here. And
trust me, she's right.
I will clean.
Because I've seen Gia clean corners with Q-tips.
You've seen it.
I have.
I clean corners with, like, I
know. I've seen it with my own eyes, and I was like,
so I think that could be tough, knowing that you're with someone that will call you out and that will expect more, because you can be with someone that's a catch, that checks all of your boxes, but when you throw bleep on the wall just to see if it's going to stick, they might let it stick.
Now you making them go clean it up.
I'm gonna make you, like, get the Clorox, get the rag, get the scrubby brush,
and then tell me why you did that,
and then apologize, please.
Yo,
do you know what I mean?
That's that.
So
that's a deep question, though. That's a real
I think I'm dateable, but I think that, you know,
there's some things that
you gotta know who you're with to be able to, you know, see it through with me. So that's how I feel. But I think that's a good question. It's a question you guys could ask yourselves.
Definitely.
And and ask the person that you're with and, like, generate a good conversation.
That would be,
because that actually, you asked me that, and that actually just made me think. Right. And maybe the next podcast I'll ask for Sean.
Yes.
If he thinks that he's dateable. And to get my answer, he'll have to go back and watch this podcast.
Right.
But anyway, on that note, I think we could wrap it up.
Yes.
How'd you enjoy your first, like, one-on-one podcast?
It was like therapeutic for me.
Therapeutic?
No, serious. It's like our conversations, though. We just invited you guys in. But
you had fun? You liked it?
I took some gems from this.
Okay, good. Well, we hope you guys did too. Or at least cause, you know, reason for conversation in your homes. Anyway, thanks for joining us. I am Gia Casey.
And I am Benz.
This is another